wrestling, gumbo to grits, politics to poetry, and all things Southern in between, this is Take on the South. Produced by the Institute for Southern Studies in the McCausland College of Arts and Sciences at the University of South Carolina, Take on the South explores the highs and lows of the American South, examines the truth and fictions of the country's most distinctive region, and picks the brains of some of its most accomplished students. To understand the South, you need to take it on, and that's what we'll be doing. Join us as we take on the South. Few places saw as much violence, bravery, and battle as South Carolina during the Revolutionary War. Over 400 land engagements, battles, and skirmishes took place in South Carolina during the War for Independence. Just the names are legion, tattooed into the national consciousness. Charleston, Fort Moultrie, Kings Mountain, Camden, Francis Marion, Thomas Sumter. I could go on and on. And next year marks the 250th anniversary of that war. To help us commemorate it and understand it, the state established the South Carolina 250th Commission. On today's show, we are lucky to have Molly Fortune, Chief Executive Officer of the SC250th, to tell us about the Commission has planned and what it's going to do. Prior to joining SC250, Molly was Executive Director at the world-renowned Performing Arts Center, the Newbury Opera House. She was also Director of Restorations and Operations at the Fox Theatre in Atlanta, and even before her work at the Fox, Molly was employed by the Department of Defense as a Cultural Resource Specialist in Historic Preservation and Programming. She received her BFA in Interior Design from Converse College with, remarkably, a minor in physics. And she also received an MFA in Historic Preservation from the Savannah College of Art and Design. Molly, welcome to Take on the South.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure entirely. I'm excited about this.
I am too.
I teach this stuff. My students love this part of American history. I'm teaching 300 of them this semester, and we just finished the Revolutionary War. So the timing couldn't be better. Before we get into what you're planning, what you're doing, can you just tell us about the commission itself? Who are the members? When was it formed? What's the function of it?
The fascinating part about our commission is it's one of 50. Every state has a commission, and our territories do as well. And that's federal legislation that came down probably around 2017, 2018. Okay. South Carolina took it very seriously and said this is an opportunity to put us back on the map. So our commission was formed around 2018, 2019. Mm-hmm. And then COVID hit, and they really were on a shoestring. And all of our members are appointed by either the governor, the president of the Senate, or the Speaker of the House. Okay. And we require at least one for each three of those to be an African American, a woman, mm-hmm. Native American. So we start at the very beginning with carrying through with that mission. We have made up of historians. We're made up of professors. Trying to go around the room, we have our chairman is a former Major General of the U.S. Army. Mm-hmm. Our vice chair is a lawyer. Mm. Our treasurer is a self-made businessman from Charleston. Right. We have a mayor from Andrews, South Carolina. Right. And we do have a representative and a senator. So we are a wide-ranging group of misfits that are having an absolutely fabulous time.
Fantastic. So you're really trying to capture a representation of the state in all of its complexity and glorious detail, right?
And complexity is a great word. It's complicated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
South Carolina's role is complicated.
Yes, it is.
And then let's layer on top of that, even talking about the Declaration of Independence, which is that kickoff you were referring to for that 250th anniversary. But it wasn't just about soldiers and politicians, it was about everyday people. And mm-hmm. that's what our commission represents. And it's dedicated to telling those stories of women, children who dug the graveyards, Native Americans, free and enslaved, and even our loyalists. Mm-hmm. I mean, they populated South Carolina too, and we have to tell their story.
I was going to ask you about that because I think one of the kind of misapprehensions of a commemoration is that it tends to be celebratory and simply that is just very surface. But what I'm hearing from you is that you want to accurately reflect the entirety of the population's experience, and that sometimes means getting down to really small details like children. Who would think of children during the revolution? Fantastic. And then including the loyalists, because as I tell my students, in a way, the American Revolution was almost a civil war. You had 20% of people who didn't want to fight in this war.
They could have cared less.
They couldn't have cared less.
Yeah.
And that is, you're getting towards a civil disobedience there that made it very complex to win this war for the Americans. And we get into that in just a bit. Okay, so the membership, the committee is really robust. You've been doing this for quite a while.
We've been doing this for quite a while, and we meet 4 times a year. We are religious.
Okay.
And they are open meetings. We welcome the public. We are traveling around the state.
Yep.
We've gone to the big ones, the Charlestons, the Spartanburgs, the Camdens. We've gone to Lancaster. We've gone to Florence. We're getting ready to go out to Horry County. We'll go up to Pickens, to Walhalla. We're going out to Greenwood for 96th anniversary. We are dedicated to being in those communities. And what makes us very different than some of the other states is that we started with a county approach.
Oh.
And I know that we're going to talk a little bit later about that, but it's important to be in those counties.
Yeah, that is.
They know where the bodies are buried.
That's right. That's exactly. Local knowledge is preeminent in this. And not other states are not doing this.
So we started it that way. Our chairman, who passed away, Charles Baxley, pardon me, he said, you know what? They know where the bodies are buried. They know their stories. They know this. It's ingrained in them.
Right.
And to them, it's second nature to talk about folklore or I've got so-and-so's stuff in the attic. And we've never really talked about it. And each county, all 46, have committees.
God, I am so glad you're approaching it that way because that kind of forensic analysis really then helps it bubble up, right? You get into. All right, answer me this as just curiosity. You've been around the state. You've been to the big ones. You've been to Camden, Charleston, and you've gone to smaller ones. Can you tell me the one that surprised you, like a very small place where you're like, hang on a minute, something important happened here in 1776, 77, whatever, and it now is a very small place. It's kind of fallen off the map. Did you have that kind of place?
I think all of them are that way. Okay. I try to say every baby is beautiful.
Right.
But I'm not from here, and I think we should probably talk about that for a second. I'm from the penal colony to the west. Georgia.
There's a few of those, but okay.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Fine.
I'm from Georgia.
Okay.
So for me to be here for the last 10 years and be in this position for almost 4 years now, each of these babies really is beautiful. And you're like, wow, are you kidding? I had no idea. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've said that. One of the most startling ones to me, which will show you that, again, I am from the penal colony of the West, is when we went to Beaufort's Massacre up in Lancaster. And it's on the side of the road.
Yeah, right.
And you're thinking to yourself, this is out in the middle of nowhere.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Right. Yeah. And so you're sitting there, and then you hear the story. There was a woman in her 80s or 90s that was down there cleaning up some of the grave markers, and a motorcycle gang came by. And the motorcycle gang from Sun City said, ma'am, can we help you? And she's like, well, this is a very important spot, and I just don't want it to ever be forgotten. Well, the Friends of Beaufort's Massacre, which is an oxymoron anyway, started a nonprofit to take care of the grave markers, to put up signage. And it was started by a motorcycle gang in memory of this woman. And then you go over there, and we had our commission meeting up there. And see, you learn something every day. I'm standing there, as the CEO, herding cats and trying to get everybody on the bus. And someone says something about Beaufort. And I went, he didn't die here? It's Beaufort's Massacre. And they said, no, Molly, he rode off into the sunset and was relieved of command. I'm like, you mean to tell me that I have for years thought that Buford was here? No, it's not. But what I did, so I learned that Buford didn't die. But that's where I learned that the children were pulled out of houses to bury the dead at gunpoint. So there are those small little stories. I mean, Georgetown, I think, is a gem that has been forgotten. Saluda County.
Yeah.
Saluda County, Texas was born in Saluda County.
Right.
Okay, so you got the Bottom family. Well, guess who Bottom's grandmother was? She was the woman who picked up the body parts from Cloud Creek's massacre and buried them. He watched her, so he got bitten by that history bug. But those are those small little stories that you go, what?
Yeah. I think those stories are just really compelling for lots of different reasons. So hang on a minute. We're both outsiders. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
right, yeah.
You know. We have greater wisdom, right? There we are.
I think your people sent my people to prison.
Well,
Is that how it was?
No, it was actually a charitable act. There were a lot, a lot of difficulties that you were having. And we was like, we take care of them over there. Don't worry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a really pretty place.
No,
Yeah.
Well, it is now.
It is now.
It is now. All right. So you mentioned something, and interestingly enough, a lot of what we've said so far has been about the brutality of this war, right? And I tell my students, one of the great nostalgic conceits about the Revolutionary War is that it was like a gentleman's war, right? Where you've got red coats and uniforms, and it wasn't. It was one of the most brutal wars in American history.
It affected everyone.
It did, across the board. I know that you've got some reenactments planned, right? And obviously the big ones. But how you could sort of tackling this brutality question with reenactments? Like you can't reenact the brutality. How are you kind of conveying this?
Well, in a reenactment, the soldiers do fall.
Right.
And they stay there. And when you go or participate in a reenactment, you can get very close, physically close to the action.
Right.
And there might be someone that falls in front of you. Well, they don't get right back up.
Right.
They lay there.
Yep.
They lay there until it's over. So you start to feel uncomfortable with, there's this guy right in front of me
Right.
who's looking at me, and we're not saying a word to each other. And it's, you step into it a little bit. You can never step fully into it.
And you probably shouldn't want to, really.
And you shouldn't want to. Right. And we are blessed. One, I'm a military wife. I have a husband who was deployed for 24 years. Not totally for 24 years. It felt that way. But who was in the military and fought on the front lines. My chairman is also a military veteran. And it is very important to tell that whole story, but you can't get as close as you can until you walk in those steps.
Yeah.
But there are those smells. I know Will and my husband Chris talk about that smell of gunpowder, the smell of the horses, the manure smell.
Right, yeah. The olfactory aspect of
100%.
Yeah.
And then, there's that taste. Some of our reenactments they bring their food, and they'll share their food with you. So you can get the taste, and you can get the smell, and you can hear how loud it is and how disorganized and confusing it can be without necessarily having your heart ripped from your chest.
Yeah. I think that sensory aspect of war is a kind of invitation to imagine what it was like, right?
Oh, right.
The stuff that happened in the backcountry is going to be really hard to capture because it was so brutal. I mean, Cornwallis basically just let these guys go and they're just hacking around, supposedly inspiring loyalists, and it had the opposite effect where it's like, what are you doing? Help us out here. You probably can't get to that. That probably has just to be narrated, right? Because this is what happened. It's a kind of the Patriot,
Right.
It's that kind of feel to it. So there are always limits to what we do, but I do think you're entirely right. Reenactment is a very powerful way to invite people to imagine the past, right?
It is. And women played a huge role in the American Revolution, whether they were spies, whether they were providing food. We call them provisions. There is a way to tell the brutality through those women's stories. There's a particular story, and I apologize for not remembering it right off the top of my head. If you come to the state fair, we have a whole panel on this. But it leads into that conversation of it really was a civil war. You have a woman who is at home with her husband. Her husband is a very well-known loyalist and has loyalists in the house with him. Her brother is a patriot. And that particular force has now surrounded their house. They got to get this guy.
Yep.
But guess what? That's her brother and her husband.
Yeah.
And he walks up to the front door, and she comes out and she pleads with him, please, please, please don't do anything. Well, the guys in the back, the patriots in the back, thought that was the signal. And they shot her.
Ooh.
And so this husband lost his wife. A brother lost his sister. And they go and bury her together. And then he takes him prisoner. That right there to me is one that sits very, very hard because, I'm married to military.
Yep.
What if that happened to me?
Right.
And then, by the way, both of these guys survive. And they live in the same area. So now you've got to talk about that integration. How do we integrate those people back together?
Yeah, great question. I mean, is the commission going to deal with that question of aftermath?
Well, we go up to 1783, which is your Treaty of Paris is really finalized. The British evacuate Charleston, 1782. We kick them out. Bye-bye. Right there. You can actually walk it right there in Marion Square.
Look, I'm going to tell you, we're still there.
We're still
We're
there.
just very quiet.
You are very quiet.
Well, I'm very quiet.
Okay, there you go.
But there's like 3 of us there. We populate it, but nobody knows. All right, so you threw us out and said 82. All right.
So you've got a time period where you're going to have to talk about that. And one of the projects that we are working on is the Francis Marion Papers.
Okay, good.
Along with the Thomas Sumter Papers and Lord Rawdon Papers. And there are those conversations that come out, interestingly enough, in those papers, especially around 1782, of how are we going to deal with this?
Yeah.
And Francis Marion was a very big proponent of just forgiveness.
Yeah.
You did what you needed to do to put food on the table, to protect your children, to protect your wife, to protect your livelihood.
Yep.
If you choose to stay here, we will forgive you. Now, Thomas Sumter had a little bit of a different approach to it. But there are those conversations that are going on. Sure. When you're riding down the river and it's like, hey, Joe, how's your wife?
Right.
And he's talking to a loyalist.
Right.
Hey, they really were neighbors.
Yeah, in a way, that kind of echo, the aftermath of reconciliation, is one of the most interesting stories about the American Revolution because, historians like to say, well, here's the bookended dates and everything changes, and it doesn't really. I mean, if you look at probate records from the late 1780s and early 1790s, people's property is still evaluated in pounds sterling, not dollars.
I looked at it last night, actually. I was doing some research. 100%.
Yeah. So there's this kind of weird legacies, and, it's an adjustment process, right?
Well, one of the things that we did very quickly is we got rid of the "you" in all of our words. So we may have been doing pounds sterling, but we sure got those "yous" out of there.
Well, I mean, they might make a comeback too.
I know, that's what I hear.
You had fewer letters to print with or something like that. It was
exactly. But,
cost effective.
That conversation about reconciliation and being very thin, there was still a lot of unfinished business.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And that really relates to our Native Americans and our free and enslaved. The British had a real big problem of promising freedom, and then what do we do now? And then America, yes, we talk about Declaration of Independence and all men are created equal, and we're talking about that. Native Americans didn't get freedom. Enslaved did not get freedom. Women did not get freedom. So it's a process, and I think that's one thing I want folks to remember is that this is the great American experiment, and the fact that we are still struggling with these questions and we can say them out loud is what our forefathers were thinking.
I think,
and don't ever kick the can down the road.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, in a way, and this is what I tell my students, many of the questions inspired by the American Revolution weren't really answered until the Civil War. Some people call that the Second Civil War in recognition that this was a civil war in many ways.
And don't forget, your Civil War soldiers and your generals and your elderly, it was their grandparents.
That's right.
And they knew them.
That's right.
They knew them. They heard
Yep.
the stories. This is not linear.
No, you're right. You're right. And they claimed that heritage, right?
Right.
And who was most American, all right?
Right.
So the Confederate Union, what have you. Well, that's absolutely fascinating, and I think that's entirely right. Of course, you know, that victory over the British, I mean, just militarily was staggering, right? Here we have the world's most powerful military, biggest navy. And you've got, you know, what's essentially a ragtag army of Continentals, key militia, to be sure. And if you're a betting person at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, you would have not bet on the United States. You just wouldn't. I mean, they didn't even call them. I mean, if you look at the Declaration of Independence, it's these United States. It's not even one thing yet, right? But somehow they pulled it off. And one of the reasons they pulled it off is because what happened here in this state, right? Mission critical.
We turned it upside down.
They turned it upside down.
Well, you know, we tried it on June 28th, 1776, a week before the Declaration of Independence. We beat the British Navy.
Well, there's a draw, surely.
No, pretty sure.
Outrageous.
And I have to remind everybody, Fort Sumter was a sandbar and not one that served drinks. Okay, but the British, but they tried once.
That's
and then
right.
We sent them away.
It's true. It's true. It's a very difficult place to attack, though. I mean, Charleston's tricky.
I will give you that.
All right, fair.
But yeah, South Carolina really turned that military complex machine on its ear.
It did. Guerrilla warfare is a powerful thing.
It is.
Asymmetric warfare. All right, Molly. What you're doing is very exciting. How do people get involved?
Lots of different ways.
Okay.
One, just start reading.
Yep.
Go search for those things about the American Revolution. Whether, and I'm going to say this, whether it's about the North and Saratoga and all that, that's written about a lot. But search out some things in the South. Go visit places. Every county is welcoming visitors.
Okay.
And if you need to plan that trip, one of our partners is South Carolina Parks, Rec, and Tourism.
Okay.
You can go to their website and you can plan your trip. You can also come to our website if you're looking for that book, you're looking for that story. If you're a teacher and you want to teach about slave manumissions or how to find your genealogy, our website at SC250, the letters T, no, sorry, that's a letter. The number,
Right.
SC250.com.
Right.
We've got a bibliography, we've got teacher's kits, we've got videos, we've got ways that you can get involved. We send you to our partners if you're interested in a farm. Say you want to go strawberry or peach picking. By the way, there's 700 agritourism farms in the state of South Carolina, and most of them are located near prominent battles, skirmishes, murders, the whole 9 yards.
How interesting.
Right. So you can go have your peach. Now, I will say this. It is so much more than battlefields.
Right.
Okay, I'm a military wife. A flank is something you grill and put in a burrito. It's the stories, it's the experiences, it's the other things that happen.
Yeah.
So just start reading, just get involved, start asking questions.
So you're where you're coming from, this is fundamentally an attempt to inspire education about the revolution in South Carolina.
Education, heritage tourism that drives economic development for our rural counties.
Yep. All right.
I talked about Saluda County. They don't even have a hotel.
Is
Let's
that right?
get them a hotel.
Is that right?
Right.
Tricky. Okay. Couple of specific examples that I know that some of the students from Southern Studies are involved in. You have a big display at the upcoming state fair, right?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
Some of our folks are interning with you. Tell us about that.
Mark, we are so grateful to you and the work that you do here at USC. Talking about Southern culture and your interns have been outstanding.
Fantastic.
And I'm going to go visit them this afternoon, as a matter of fact, and see what they know. But they have become so absorbed in this. It's the Rough building at the State Fair.
Okay.
It is massive. You can walk a Colonial Road. You will learn about the South Carolina militia regiments. You will learn about African Americans that served in the Revolutionary War, their stories. You'll learn about Carolina Day, which is a statewide initiative, which I think we probably want to talk about what's upcoming events. You'll learn about life, women, Native Americans.
Food, things like this. Dress
for sure.
Okay.
No food, but you can get food. Of course,
Right.
Like the fried Twinkie,
The fried
which was
Twinkie,
not served then.
Probably lost the war if there had been fried
Probably,
Twinkies.
right, exactly. And then some resources that you can take. And we have a huge Declaration of Independence
Oh, lovely.
that we invite folks to sign. And we also have a wall of what do you wish for America? So those are kinds of the things that your students are helping us and living historians walking around and doing things.
And they're going to be there the entirety.
The entire time it's open.
Yeah, they're very excited, and I'm very happy that they're involved. This is precisely the kind of hands-on experience that they need, and I'm glad that we can be of some assistance. History department is really involved in that too, so shout out to them as well.
And I will say, if I can, give a shout out to the theater department.
Please do.
They had an intern as well who took my chief of staff, Brett Torsdahl, who's from Iowa, which helps with the Iowa State Fair.
Right.
Took this vision and he drew it up, and this intern did an amazing job. So thank you to USC. Period.
Since you mentioned it, Carolina Day.
Carolina Day.
Yep.
So there are 4 signature cities that were designated by federal legislation.
Okay.
New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and the most important.
Saluda.
Right.
Right. There you go.
No. Let me tell you, the guy at the Alamo was not real happy when I said, you know what, you need to talk about the Bonham family. But anyway, we digress. We have geotagged the Alamo, though. So if you walk out of the Alamo, you'll get something on your phone that says, did you really know Texas was born in Saluda? Right. Okay.
So helpful.
You're welcome.
So helpful.
I know, right? You're welcome. I do have a sense of humor. Those 3 cities have the World Cup coming.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So don't spend your time up there. Come to South Carolina. So we're going to reclaim that June 28th day.
Right.
Which comes 1 week before July 4th.
That's Charleston.
Right. And so we're going to back it up actually a little bit. So in Charleston, if you come, starting on June 20th all the way to July 5th, there will be activities. There will be immersive experiences. We're looking to have the British Navy come into the harbor. We're looking to have, I know, right? Have a ball.
Be careful.
I know.
Be very careful.
I know, right? We'll have fried Twinkies.
Well, I'm in.
Balls, road races, commemorations.
Yep.
And I do want to come back to that word. And then wreath layings at Fort Moultrie, telling that immersive story. But here's the kicker. There are 45 other counties, and they are doing things as well.
Okay.
Everything from bike races to days of service to the Great American Potluck from our friends in Idaho. So if you say, I'm not going anywhere near the peninsula, you can go to Saluda.
Yeah.
You can go to Lee County.
Right.
You can go to Lancaster. You can go to Chesterfield. And there will be activities there for you to do that celebrate everything Carolina.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
But we're not stopping there. We go all the way to 2033.
Go on.
Those things are all being developed. There's, as Paul Harvey would say, there's more to the story.
Well, we might have to have you back on the program to update us about the trajectory of, right?
Well, and I did want to, speaking of British warships coming in.
Yeah, talk to me about that. I mean, hang on a minute. What? First of all,
idea was this to invite them back.
I mean, I did tell you there's 3 of us already in the city in a very stealthy fashion.
Right.
Be careful. Guys. I'm just saying. Hang on. What is going on with the?
And my idea is that maybe they'll come in and they'll be playing on a loudspeaker the song from Hamilton, the George, I'll Be Back.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Would that not be great?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I prefer Queen, We Will Rock You, but okay, that's fine.
That's a good one. Okay. The British are enthralled with this.
All right, talk to me about this.
They have been amazing.
All right, tell me why they're interested. What are they saying?
Wow, this is a piece of even our history we don't talk about.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
They say, we don't teach this.
No, because we lost.
Well, and it was a world event, though.
Sure.
You had a lot going on. East
Global
India
war.
Company, you were like, we don't like the French.
Right.
The Spanish are doing something.
Yeah.
We're going to lose our money makers, which was Charleston and
Yeah.
the Sugar Islands. To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
that's right.
that was your money machine behind the rest of the World War. So
Yeah.
not only is it a civil war in South Carolina, it's a world war for Britain.
Yeah, actually, that's a really helpful thing to remind people that this Revolutionary War, this War for Independence, was in fact a global war because it had so many countries involved. I mean, the truth is, after Saratoga, French say, okay, we're going to help America. Terribly important because that divided British,
Resources.
Yeah, I mean, they had to fight,
Right.
a transatlantic war. Very important, I think, for the ultimate American victory. So it's very helpful, I think, and I'm so glad that you're talking about it in those kind of transatlantic terms because it deprovincializes what is sometimes
It's not a
perceived-
microcosm.
Right.
No.
People think of that, but you hang on a minute. There's a much larger canvas.
It's a much
to
larger,
this.
and on the American side are not only the French, but we've got Spanish.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
we have uncovered names of Spanish soldiers,
Yeah.
Puerto Rican, what
Interesting.
became Puerto Rico
Interesting.
at Kings Mountain and at Cowpen. So and it actually goes into Western Florida and it goes into Mississippi. People don't realize, and I didn't either. And it is a very tough subject to talk about because it's so big and so large.
Yeah.
But we have friends at the British consulate in Atlanta who we we invited over, and they came to one of our commission meetings. And usually at a commission meeting, which is open to the public, we have a tour. So the county gets to show off all their assets.
Right.
And we put this poor woman on a bus, and she stayed with us all day. There was a cocktail party at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
And she said, we got to do this. And then a group of us were invited over for dinner and really realized it was more of a family reunion. That we have so much more in common than we do that divides us.
Sure.
And we wouldn't have what we have today, or the ability to have a consulate, or the ability to run for office, or the ability to do a lot of the things that we kind of are talking a lot about if it wasn't for some of the things that England gave us.
I look, obviously I'm going to have a certain point of view on this, but as I explain to my students, and they look quite dubious when I say this, but I think it's true, well, Thomas Paine was essentially saying, a couple of months,
Yeah.
being in America, you don't want to be a monarchy, but you do want the rights of English people. Or English men at that time. So it was really about being a better version of England. England had become corrupted. It lost its way. Patronage was riddling the system. Take all that away and you have a pretty good system, but we can make it better. And I always think of the revolution as about making it better, and you did. And that's the connection.
We're still trying.
We're still trying. That's right.
There's a great book that I just finished, The Men Who Lost America, Andrew Jackson O'Shaughnessy, which is, if you're looking for something to read or listen to, I listen to it in the car
Yeah.
because I travel all these back roads.
Yeah, I bet you do. God, how many miles do you put on?
I think I put, I think my husband told me I put like 15,000 miles on my car.
Wow.
30,000 in total in the last 3 years. I met a lot of cows too. I've got a real soft spot for cows. But I say all this to say is that it's great to hear the other perspective
Yes.
of what was going on and why things were falling apart the way they were, and really what got everybody energized. And and I like to brag. South Carolina is first in a lot of things. First Tea Party, sorry Boston. Last Tea Party, Georgetown.
Yeah.
We had a government already. So when we told you guys to leave,
You already set up.
we were set. We were going. We had our money. We
Yep.
had all these documents ready to go. That's amazing.
Any French inclusion in what you're doing, given the importance of the French to this event?
Well, Lafayette,
Yeah.
he's one of my favorites.
Okay.
You know where he landed first?
Remind me.
Georgetown.
Georgetown. Okay.
He steps foot here in South Carolina first
So you're featuring this.
with DeKalb.
Okay. Good.
Right. So telling that French story is
Yep.
one that has been a little harder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
love hard, love mountains to climb. So we definitely want to start telling
French consulate, perhaps?
well, I am going over there shortly, but yeah, well, we got to balance that with our, our English friends.
I get it. I understand.
But we are talking to the Spanish government as well.
Oh, interesting.
They are very, very interested in this as well.
Very
So,
good, very good.
yes, it is. That's thank goodness I've got a long runway.
Yeah, sure. You need it. Yeah.
Because you've got the Carolina Day, the Carolina Days that happened, the Declaration of Independence, and then for South Carolina, you've got it's a pause, and in that pause before the British come back, you've got John Lawrence, who's Washington's aide de camp. You've got Henry, that's put in the Tower of London, thank you very much, in exchange for Cornwallis. You've got the French starting to have these conversations, these epistle wars.
Yeah.
So it gives us a chance to really talk more about that brouhaha that's happening.
I love it. I love it. All right, Molly. Anything else you want to add about what you're doing, or even kind of more aerially, what you want people to take away from this? What, 3 years from now, what's your result? Like, how do you know you've achieved what you want to achieve?
Great question. An awareness.
Okay.
And it's not just historians. I'm not the historian. You read my resume. I'm a building. I talk to buildings.
You're lots of things. Physicist, interior designer.
That's common sense. Education is a really big part of this. Just our conversation here is education.
Yeah, sure.
We've worked with the Department of Education, American Battlefield Trust. We are having Liberty Day. We're inviting 250 fourth graders to the state capitol. They will sit in the House of Representatives. They will make decisions. They will vote. They will see how government works. And that will go on in perpetuity.
Oh,
so
really?
We want all four, and we're bringing them from across the state. So right now, go on our website, like I said, SC250.com, and there is a form you can fill out for teachers that if you want to bring your students, we want that to happen. We've got to bring students in. But I say this, and my staff they all cringe when I say it. It's more than K through 12. It's K through dead. So what am I doing to involve those folks that are, one, moving here like us, or two, that can't quite get out of the nursing homes or can't quite be as agile as they can? How can I bring this to them that they get excited about these stories? So in 3 years, I hope to have great augmented reality in nursing homes with sounds and sights, kids that are excited about learning about South Carolina, and folks that are moving here that say we get it.
The exquisitely named Molly Fortune, thank you for everything that you're doing. Terribly important thing that you're doing. And thank you for being on Take on the South.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
That was our Take on the South. Let us know yours. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at U of SC South. Be sure to click and subscribe. Take on the South is produced by the Institute for Southern Studies and the McCausland College of Arts and Sciences at the University of South Carolina. Special thanks to Professor Dave Garner of the University of South Carolina School of Music for composing our soundtrack. Tune in next time for another Take on the South.